Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rachel from Evelyn and Peter, and today I have a crocheted beanie and scarf set for you guys. So this one is really beginner friendly. This is the beanie, and then I'm wearing the scarf. Let me scoot back so you guys can see it's super long, has some fringe on the end. But both of them are beginner friendly and really simple to make. So I actually have two separate videos for this design, one for the scarf and one for the beanie. So this intro is the same on both of them, but if you are on the scarf video, then make sure you go check out the beanie video as well. And if you're on the beanie video, you can hop on over to the scarf video if you want to make that, if you want the matching set. And I'll have both of them linked down in the description for you guys so you can easily find them and make both if you want to. So for the scarf and the beanie, I kind of use the same pattern repeat, like stripe color work repeat, so that they match. A lot of it is double crochets, half double crochets, working in the front loop only. The scarf is like so simple. It works up really quickly and you just repeat the same thing over and over again. And to make it even quicker, you can, when you cut your yarns, you can go ahead and just tie your ends and crochet directly over the tails of yarn when you change colors. That way you don't have any ends to weave in when you're finished. And then I show you guys how to do that in the video. And then for the beanie, instead of cutting and joining the yarn when you switch colors, you can, let's see, let me show you. I left mine connected, and so you can see there's kind of like little floats going just up the back seam, and there's only a few of them when because you don't change colors that many time in the hat, but I just left floats. That way you have less ends to weave in as well, and you don't have to cut and join every time. You can cut and join, you'll just have a few extra ends to weave in if you wanted to do it that way. But I show you how to do it both ways in the video. And then this one's super beginner friendly as well. It's worked from the bottom up. The ribbing is slip stitch in the back loop only, so it's really super stretchy, and my favorite way to make the ribbings for hats. And then you'll be doing some decreasing up at the top, and then that's pretty much it. It's all the same type of stitches, double crochets and half double crochets. So really easy, nothing complicated at all. You'll have yarn left over to make pom-pom and to add the fringe. That's all in the pattern as well. And then as always, this is available as a kit with lionbrand.com. So if you wanted to get the kit, which comes with the yarn to make both the scarf and the beanie, so it comes with all of the yarn, and then it also comes with the digital pattern to make both as well. And the written pattern I have is available on my blog, enpcrochet.com, and it's free on there, and I have both available on there for free. So I do recommend following along with the written pattern. I always find it to be a lot easier, and I always recommend you guys to do that when you're watching my videos. So just follow along in the pattern in case you miss a stitch count or something like that, or if I don't say it, it's always in the written pattern, the exact stitch counts. And everything like that. Everything you need to know as far as how much yardage you need and the different colors that I use in my patterns. These are the yarns that I used. I used Lion Brand Heartland, and you need 2 skeins of your main color, which I used is Acadia, which is the cream color, and then you need 3 other colors, just 1 skein each of the other 3, and I used Glacier Bay, Yosemite, and Rocky Mountains for my other 3 colors. And then other than that, you just need a J 6mm crochet hook and a pair of scissors and a needle to weave in ends. And then of course, if you wanted to make the optional pom-pom out of the yarn or add a fur pom-pom like this one to the top, you can do that as well. But I hope you guys enjoy this cute little set. I loved making it, and it was a nice break from making a garment design, and I hope you guys enjoy making it as much as I did. So let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next tutorial. So for materials, you're going to need some worsted weight yarn. I'm using Lion Brand's Heartland yarn, and this is just a worsted weight acrylic. and you're going to need 4 different colors. I'm using Acadia, Yosemite, Rocky Mountains, and Glacier Bay. So just make sure you have 4 colors if you want to follow along with the color changes. And then you're also going to need a J 6mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and then a yarn needle to weave in your ends. If you guys want to make the matching hat that goes with the scarf, I have a YouTube video for that as well that I'll link to in the descriptions, and it uses the same exact yarn, so make sure you make that as well if you want a matching set. Okay, so for the scarf, we're going to be starting off with color A, which is the cream color, and we're going to be doing a foundation row for our very first row. So go ahead and make a slip knot and then insert your hook. So we're going to be working foundation double crochet stitches. So to start off with that, you're going to chain 3. So just yarn over and pull through the loop on your hook 3 times. So you have 3 chains and then yarn over. And in that very first chain that you made on the back bump is where you're going to be inserting your hook. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first loop only, and then yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through the final 2 loops, and that is 1 foundation double crochet stitch. Let's do it again. Yarn over, and in the bottom of that first stitch that you just made is where you'll be putting your hook. So insert your hook under both of those loops. You should be going underneath 2 loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop only, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the final 2. And that is our second foundation double crochet. And again, yarn over, insert your hook into that bottom of the previous stitch that we just made. You can see it looks like a little V. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1 loop only, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the final 2. So basically when we're doing a foundation row, it just combines your starting chain right here along with row 1. So you can see our double crochet stitches, and then here along the bottom is basically where your chain is. So these little V's create the chain, and it just combines the 2 together. So yarn over, and you can insert it again onto the bottom of the previous stitch that we just did and complete your foundation double crochet. And this is what we will be doing for the entirety of the first row. If you don't want to learn how to do a foundation double crochet, if you're not already aware of how to do it, you can start off with a regular chain if you wanted to do that instead. You could chain 33 and then work your first double crochet stitch into the 3rd chain from the hook and each chain across the row for a total of 30 double crochet stitches. But if not, just continue on with this and do it a total of 30 times. So you want a total of 30 foundation double crochet stitches for the end of row 1, and then our stitch count won't be changing after that. So just go ahead and continue this a total of 30 times. Okay, so that completes row 1. I have a total of 30 foundation double crochet stitches. And now we will be continuing on, and this pattern is super simple, you guys. There's no increasing or decreasing. You're always going to stay at a total of 30 stitches. So chain 2 and turn your work, and we're going to be doing row 2. So for row 2, it is just regular double crochet stitches. So yarn over, and in that very first stitch from the row below, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the final 2, and that is 1 double crochet stitch. So the beginning chain 2 did not count as a stitch. So just work 1 double crochet for every single stitch all the way across. So you'll have a total of 30 double crochet at the end of the row. Okay, so then now we're just going to be repeating that row 2 more times. So you can chain 2 and turn your work, and then just do exactly what you did for row 2 is what you're going to be doing for row 3. So work 1 double crochet into each stitch all the way across the row. And again, it's just yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the final 2. Do that in every single stitch. Okay, and then to start off row 4, it's going to be the exact same thing. So chain 2, turn your work, and work 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch across. So we're just repeating what we did in the previous row. Okay, so now we are starting row 5, so you can chain 1 this time and turn your work. And for this row, we're going to be doing half double crochet stitches. So for that, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the very first stitch in the row below, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and that is 1 half double crochet stitch. And you're going to do this in every single stitch across. Make sure you're putting it through both the front and back loop, inserting it under both loops, and then just work a half double crochet stitch. Do this a total of 30 times. Okay, and then once you get to the end of the row, I'm going to show you how to join in our new color yarn. We're going to be bringing in color B. So instead of finishing our last half double crochet stitch with the cream color, we're going to drop it. We still have 3 loops on our hook, and you're going to place the blue color on top of the hook and pull through those 3 loops that are on your hook. So we just finished that last stitch using a new color instead of the cream color. So now the blue is our working yarn, and you can chain 1, kind of give the tails of yarn a little tug just to make sure that it's all in place and secure, and then you can go ahead and turn your work. And then what you're going to want to do is tie the ends of the blue and the cream color together into a little knot. So I'm just taking the tails of those 2 yarn, and I just like to tie mine in a knot to make sure it doesn't come undone, because what I'm going to do is just be crocheting directly over the tails so that I don't have to weave in all of these ends later. So I'll show you how to do that for the next row. So just go ahead and tie a knot, and then you can cut off the cream color because that is no longer our working color if you haven't done so already. And then now I'll show you guys how to crochet directly over them so that you can skip weaving in all those ends at the end of your scarf. So what you want to do is pull those tails up, and then we're going to be doing half double crochet stitches for this row, and we're also going to be doing it into the front loop only. So the front loop is the loop that's closest to you. So place the tails of the yarn on your hook as well so we can crochet right over it. And then insert your hook into the front loop of the half double crochet of the row below. So instead of underneath both loops like you're used to, just put it underneath the loop that's closest to you and complete your half double crochet stitch working directly over the tails. So I'll show you guys again how to do it. Yarn over, insert your hook, make sure the tails are on top of your hook, and then insert it into the front loop only of the next stitch and complete your half double crochet. Again, make sure the tails are over your hook, and then insert into the front loop only. So not the front and back, just the front, and then complete your stitch. And then you can just keep working your stitches directly over the tails until you are comfortable with how far they are covered up. I usually go about 8 stitches or so, and then any of the extra tail that I have left sticking out, I'll just trim off later with scissors. So that's how I like to work directly over my yarn, and I will also show you guys how to change colors in crochet without crocheting over it, just to give you some options, and so you can easily see the color changing a bit better. Okay, so I'm coming up to the end of the row, so I'm going to work my last half double crochet in the front loop only, and then you can go ahead and drop your working yarn, and we're going to bring back in color A. So you can just bring it in and place it over the end of your hook and do that last pull through using color A, and then again just go ahead and tug the tails down of the yarn to keep it secure, and then chain 1 using color A now and turn your work. And at this point you can tie your ends into a knot and crochet directly over them like I did in the previous row, but I'll also show you how to do it without working over it so you guys can see my stitches a little bit better. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over, pull through all 3 to work your first half double crochet. So for this row, we aren't doing the front loop only, we're doing the front and the back loop, so it's just a regular half double crochet stitch. And do this all the way across the row for a total of 30 half double crochet. Okay, and then when you get to the end of the row, go ahead and drop your working yarn and bring in color C, and then just pull through with your new yarn color. Go ahead and give the tails a little tug. And then this time we're going to be chaining 2 instead of 1 because we will be working double crochet stitches in the next row. So chain 2 and then go ahead and turn your work. You can cut color A at this point and then tie the 2 tails together into a knot and then crochet directly over your ends if you're doing that. So if you're going to crochet directly over your ends, make sure you bring your tails up and place them on your hook like this and work over them. I'm going to show you guys one more time without crocheting directly over the tails just so you can see my stitching better. So for our double crochet, again, you're just going to yarn over, insert your hook into that very first stitch from the row below, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops on your hook, and then yarn over, pull through the final 2 loops, and just do this in every single stitch across. So 1 double crochet per stitch all the way to the end of the row for a total of 30 double crochet. Okay, and then you're going to work your last double crochet stitch, and in that last yarn over, we're not going to pull through with the orange. We're going to drop our orange and bring back in color A and finish off our stitch with that color. So go ahead and place it over your hook and then just do the last pull through using color A and then tug the tails down, and then you can chain 1 and turn your work. And we're just going to be working half double crochet stitches into each stitch across. So just yarn over, insert your hook into that very first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And again, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. So just work 1 half double crochet stitch into each stitch across. Okay, so we don't have to change any colors for this row. We're going to continue on with color A, so just go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. And then for this one, we're going to be working in the front loop only. So again, the front loop is the loop that's closest to you. So instead of putting it under both loops like you're used to, just insert your hook into the loop that's closest to you for the front loop, and then yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3, and just do this for every single stitch all the way across the row. Okay, so that was the end of row 10, and now we're going to bring in our final color, which is color D, our green color. So just place that on your hook and do your final pull through with the color D. And then go ahead and chain 1 and turn your work. And then again, make sure you knot the tails of your yarn and crochet directly over them so that you don't have to do the tails, weave in the tails later. And then for this row, we're just going to be working regular half double crochet stitches. So in that first stitch, work 1 half double crochet, and then just do the same thing all the way across, 1 half double crochet in each stitch. And then when you get to the end of the row, we're not going to change colors. We're going to keep going with color D. So you can just go ahead and chain 2 and turn your work. And we're going to be doing double crochet stitches for this row. So just work 1 double crochet stitch into each stitch all the way across. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the final 2 all the way across. Okay, so that's the end of row 12, and basically this is what we're going to be repeating for the entire scarf pattern. So you can see here we have our cream section as the main color, and then we have 1 blue stripe, an orange stripe, and a green stripe. And so row 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are our creams, and then we switch on row 6 to blue, and then row 7 back to cream, row 8 back to orange, rows 9 and 10 are cream, and then rows 11 and 12 are our green. And we are repeating these exact same rows for the rest of the scarf. So when we start row 13 here, it's just a repeat of row 1. And instead of doing a foundation row like we did in row 1, you're just going to be working double crochet stitches into the stitches from the row below. So you can join in your cream color and then chain 2 and turn your work. Make sure you tie the tails into a knot so you can crochet directly over them. And then this is row 13, and we're just doing a repeat of the first row. So again, it's just double crochet stitches. The only difference is we're not doing a foundation row like we did in row 1. So just work your double crochet stitches into the previous row, working 1 stitch all the way across. When you get to the end, chain 2, turn your work, and then work a repeat of row 2 for row 14, and just repeat these same rows over and over again. You're going to do 10 more total repeats for a total of 11 for the scarf, and then you're going to repeat rows 1 through 5 as well and end on a row 5 repeat. Okay, so this is what your scarf should look like, and I will show you all my repeats. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 total repeats. And that brings us to row 132, and then for rows 133 through 137 is a repeat of rows 1 through 5. So you're ending at 137 rows on a row 5 repeat, and then all you have left to do is add some fringe. So I'll show you guys how to do that as well. And I already tied off my work, so if you haven't already, you can just yarn over and pull through and cut your yarn to tie off. So to make your fringe, you're going to need a small book. Mine is about 5.5 inches wide, and this is what we're going to use to wrap our yarn around. And you can add in your fringe any different color combination that you want. I'm just going to do a combo of green, orange, and then blue. So I went ahead and wrapped my yarn around my book a total of 8 times so that I could cut my yarn in half and have 4 strands for each set of fringe that I'm going to do. So you can go ahead and cut off the yarn, and then take your scissors and cut along the bottom as well to cut the yarn pieces in half. And then we're going to separate these into 2 piles. So I have 4 strands for each side of the fringe that I'm going to tie off onto my scarf. Obviously, you can wrap it around more or less times depending on how thick you want your fringe. So you can do more or less. And all you're going to do is fold it in half and then add those on to the bottom rows of your scarf. So I added green, and then I skipped 2 stitches, added orange, and then skipped 2 more stitches. And then just in between those stitches, you can insert your hook. And then just grab the yarn that you have for your first fringe and pull it through the hole. So just grab it, pull it through in between those 2 stitches. And then don't pull it all the way through, just enough so that you can stick your fingers through that little hole, and then grab the rest of the yarn and then pull it through the loop, and then you can just pull it tight and snug to secure. And then you can do the same thing on the other side. Just add in your blue, and then just keep going until you filled in all of your spots, or however you want to put in your fringe. You can add more or less, and then repeat that on this other side as well. And this is what mine looks like. You can also trim the bottom of your fringe to make it nice and even, and then steam it as well to kind of straighten out the yarn ends. And if you have any tails to weave in, you can go ahead and grab your needle and just weave those in the scarf as well. So that is it for this tutorial. I hope you guys liked this pattern. Make sure you check out the matching beanie and make one of those as well in my other video, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will catch you guys in the next tutorial.